What's up, everybody? Welcome, episode 2 of the Frequent Flyer with B-Rob. I appreciate you guys checking out that first one. Me and Nick had a great time. We're going to do it again today. First, we have to discuss UD. The Flyers, they had a tough one at home. Dropped one to VCU, 73-68. As I expected, it was a dogfight, entertaining game, but man, rebounds. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that for now. We'll get into that a little bit. And then next, we had the Super Bowl. That didn't go as I expected. The Chiefs got destroyed by Philly's line on both sides of the ball. And the outcome was 40-22, but it wasn't as close as that score indicated. Obviously, everybody watched it and saw it. I have one thing to correct, though. On the first episode, I pulled up the Super Bowl 57 image screenshot, and it was in Arizona in that one. This year, New Orleans, obviously. So my bad. When it's a one-man band right now and it's just me kind of running this thing, you're going to have some mix-ups. So I noticed that right after I posted the video, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm not going to take it down. I'm just going to leave it. And you guys get the picture. Same two teams, but different city, different year, and obviously a different outcome. So Philadelphia, like I said before, they were the more talented team by far, and they showed that Sunday night. And it was just a complete domination. Of course, the defensive line went to work, but Jalen Hurts, he did his thing too, and he got his first Super Bowl, and we'll dive into that a little bit. So we're going to bring Nick back on. We had such a good time. I told y'all he's not going to be on here only once. We'll bring him back on, get his takes on the UD game, on the Super Bowl, some other things as well. And we will bring on a guy who helped keeps the UD program moving, navigating through this crazy landscape of college sports. He makes things happen both behind the scenes, in front of the camera, just all over the place. Mr. Matt Farrell. He wears a lot of hats, has a lot of different roles. We'll get some insights, get some knowledge on the collective, the NIL. So we got a big show. Looking forward to it. All right, so before we get going further, let's bring on my guy. Y'all remember my bro, Mr. Nick Stafford. Welcome, Nick, man. You good?
Yeah, brother, I'm good, man.
There
Great
we
to
go.
see
Back
you.
to back episodes here, man. You know how we doing it. Starting us off here. So I want to address something though. We talked about a little bit before with the 5-star camp and everything. It's crazy because a guy, Coach Rodney Martin in Toledo, he saw the first episode and he was like, man, take a look at this. And I was like, whoa, this is the All-Star Game score sheet, bro. This is the All-Star Game score sheet from 5-star, from that particular session that we were all at. Now, we talked offline, right? And you asked, was Drew Lab there? And look at the first name. Look at the first name on that score sheet. I thought he wasn't there.
Wow.
He was on your team. You got Drew Lab, shout out him. He was crazy. You got Jared Jack, we talked about, Robert Height, Ron Lewis. Look at you over there. Look at Nick. Look at Nick. 6'10". Look at Nick Stafford right there. 6'10", 12 and 5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, Curtis Sumner, we talked about that. Jason Frazier. B. Melchione. Is that the dude that went to Duke?
Yeah.
Oh, come on now. That's one team. And then down here, there go Ray Felton.
Yeah.
Lenny Dustin Salisbury, Lenny Cook, Kennedy Winston, he was talking about.
Yeah. Andre Vanderpool, Omari Israel. Wow.
Bro. Wow. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. He had that. And it's just like, these were some of the names that we talked about.
Wow.
But, I just thought that was cool to like just touch on, man. Look, 12 and 5. Look, he was a lead scorer.
Hey, that's what I was about to say.
Everybody. Brad down there. I played with Brad in Israel, but 12 and 5, bro. Like, no wonder. No wonder he was a rising, promising prospect, man. But no, I was like, man, that's pretty dope. I told him, I'm like, man, I got to share this on the next podcast, man. So shout out to him. providing that for me like that.
Oh man, that's awesome, bro.
I wanted to get that out the way, but let's talk a little UD, man. UD VCU, right? It just didn't pan out our way. We couldn't close the deal. We took the loss at home, man. I'll let you give your take. Go ahead.
I mean, we talked, right? And that final, what was it, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
It felt like they had the momentum. It felt like they were going to open it up and just really, take it home. And that just wasn't the case. And that combination, I think they had like 2 or 3 turnovers, and they just never bounced back, man. And it was tough to watch, because they needed, a solid win against a really good team to add to their momentum as they, look to, close out February. It was tough. That was tough.
It would have been a great end to a really good, positive week. And I mean, it went like I thought it would go. I mean, just a dogfight, just 2 teams just scrapping. I want to know how many clean rebounds we had, like just straight clean rebounds. Because I mean, looking at the box score and the stat sheet, they shot, I think, 18 more field goal attempts than we did.
Yeah.
They had 23 offensive rebounds, and they had, I think it was 30 points off our turnovers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those kind of stats, it's amazing that we ended up having a 5-point lead with just a couple minutes to go. You know what I mean? And so,
right.
It just was, like you said, tough to watch. But again, I knew it was going to be that type of game.
Yeah.
I mean, to have this score that high, it's amazing because, when they usually play, I think last year it was like 45 to 47 or something crazy. Oh, but I mean, offense was there. We gave them way too many shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they capitalized on it. I think the field goal percentage was about even.
Yep.
And it's like, yo, they just got more possession. They got more shots up. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there was one possession, I think I counted like 4 shot attempts and really good looks. And I was just like, man, like they were just relentless on those boards. But, we do play them again. I think that it's either the last or second to the last game. So I hope that we'll be ready to play them, but they got to play for them. So
yeah.
Next,
right. That's
game.
what I was just going to say. That's what I was just going to say. At this point, it just has to be what is happening tomorrow. What's happening the next practice. That's all that that's all they need to focus on and worry about. You can't worry about, what's going to happen in March, what's going to happen. Just take it, next practice, next game, whatever, next play.
Yep.
That's the mindset that I hope the guys can have in this next stretch. So next game for them, let's see what they got. Let's see, that mindset going to the Bronx, get the dub and move on. Get the dub and move on.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's UD. Obviously, the other big event, the Super Bowl, down in New Orleans, Kansas City, going for history that I thought that they would. And I could tell from the very first play or first possession that this was not going to go the way that I think. Philly's offensive line, defensive line, it was a complete domination.
Yeah.
Complete. I will say, it's funny because that first possession where they called that offensive PI on A.J. Brown, I know everybody across America felt the same way. Like, the fix is in. The Chiefs are going to win. And by the looks of that call right there, it was like, these guys aren't even hiding it anymore. Like, they're not even being discreet at all. But, there was another, on the next Eagles possession, it was an unsportsmanlike on the tight end.
Yep.
And that was definitely not the case on that one either. So after that call, it's like, okay, now we're even. All right, let's just play the game. And from then on, it was just a complete mollywop. So no history. Eagles get the dub, and we got new Super Bowl champs.
Yeah. Look, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I think the Eagles came out ready to play. Jalen Hurts, he heard all the rumbling, all the questions, whether or not, he was a quarterback that can win. He looked poised. Definitely looked like he had been there before. The way he carried himself, and he led his team and the defense played well. Barkley didn't have the game that he hoped, but that's okay.
Yeah, the Chiefs took that away. They said, you know what, Saquon's not going to beat us.
Yep.
And we'll just let, Jalen throw the ball. And that offensive line just gave Jalen all the time in the world to see what was happening and pick his spots. I mean, even on Chiefs blitzes, it was picked up. And now you got these elite wideouts one-on-one or just, it was a piece of cake. It was literally easy football.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Kudos to, Philly. I mean, kudos to that, that O-line, the D-line. I mean, they came ready to play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fact that the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl is just an amazing accomplishment. Because like I said, they weren't even really that good, to be for real. Like, they just were. I don't know how they only lost one game all year.
I agree.
But it's like, this is probably the worst Chiefs offense we've seen. The defense, it always plays solid and they make plays, but they just looked old out there compared to Philly. I mean, they looked old, like slow. It just looked overmatched. It didn't look like they belonged on the same field.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it before when the game started.
The 3-and-out.
Yeah, the 3-and-out. Quick, twice. And then I was like, okay, the Chiefs, maybe it was just, I was like, maybe it's the jitters, and so maybe they just takes time to settle in. But no, it just was the Eagles are just that focused.
No, you could tell they were locked in. They were motivated. They were, I don't care who was on the other side. Philly was going to win. It didn't matter.
Yes.
So, and they proved that they were the most talented team, top to bottom. They had no weaknesses.
Nope.
And I mean, it proved it. They proved it, on the biggest stage. And so shout out to them. Shout out to Jalen, that whole team. I mean, Philly's going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Gilly is about to go nuts all throughout the streets for the next couple weeks. All Philly fan, anybody from Philly, Kevin Hart, like all these people, they're going to be milking this till whenever. So
as they should.
Mean, that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. All right. So anyway, man, let's get to it. Our guest, like I said, he's a UD pillar. He's a guy who's connected everywhere across everything UD, whether it's basketball, business community, whatever it is, this guy you need to know in the UD community. So without further ado, let's bring him in, my guy, Mr. Matt Farrell. Matt, man, welcome, man, to the show. Frequent Flyer episode number 2. Listen, you two were the guys that I talked about this before I even put it out. I needed your guys' feedback. So, because I respect your opinion. So anyway, man, Matt, welcome.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Brian. It's great to reconnect with Nick as well.
But before we get into it, man, I just got to ask you a question right off the rips. If someone were to come up and ask you what you do for a living, could you just explain that? I mean, I think you might have told me this before, but it might have got lost in just all the roles and hats and everything you wear. So I'm like, I really don't know what this guy does for a living. I don't want to put you on the spot or put you on business there, but I'm just like, what do you do?
So today, I currently am the chief operating officer at a company called Niobium Microsystems. That company does a lot of trusted microelectronics development, so custom silicon chip design for a variety of customers. I've kind of the entire operations, the G&A side of that business, from finance to strategy, operations, legal, responsibilities, some business development responsibilities, and we've got a really smart team of engineers who make every day at work a ton of fun. We've got a really interesting set of intellectual property that we're looking to commercialize. So the challenges are plentiful as I do that in my day to day. My career has been a crazy one, as you know, back to the time we were all together, when I was a GA and then in the operations role on the men's staff, right? Have been fortunate to be part of a lot of great businesses across Dayton, in the community, and then companies that have made Dayton their headquarters, right? And then, like you said, Brian, I have continued to be part of this community in a variety of ways through, my volunteer efforts and my kind of personal interests. So one of the things that I'm sure we'll touch on today is my role with Dayton 6 and all things name, image, and likeness with the University of Dayton men's and women's basketball team.
Right. Let's talk about Dayton 6 and NIL and, the collective that, the University of Dayton has put together. And you've been a huge part of it, if not the main part of it. You've been around the program for as long as, me and Nick have been there for sure. And so if you could just touch on, I guess, the origins of Dayton 6 and, collective and how that thing started.
Yeah, for sure. So rewind, to when we were all together, right? And I was on staff and you guys were playing. It wasn't too long after you guys graduated. That first lawsuit from Ed O'Bannon was filed against the NCAA for kind of having
couple years
him.
Too late, but yeah.
A couple of years too late. Yeah. But that was kind of the first time, that somebody that an athlete challenged the NCAA around their ability to earn money. Now, fast forward, 12, 13 years, right, to June, July of 2021, right? We had kind of seen it coming that the NCAA was going to have to make some changes and allow student athletes to earn compensation. At the time, there was a lot of ambiguity around the role that the university could play. And as part of that, Brian, like you remember the first conversation I had when I knew it was coming and July 1st was going to be the day student athletes could earn compensation, right? I called you and you did the first ever NIL deal with our players, right? For one of our joint business ventures where we just paid the guys to post on social media. Right. And that is real and authentic in the way, name, image, and likeness should have been done, right? For marketing, for promotions. Obviously things spiraled out of control very quickly, right? Led primarily by football and the $100,000 autograph, pay for play disguised as name, image, and likeness. So that was kind of the roots of it, right? So if we go back to where did it begin? How did it get started? Right? That was July 1st of 2021 when Brian Roberts does the first ever deal. It says Dayton basketball is open for business. That was the first opportunity that I had to insert into the Dayton ecosystem, having been a member of the staff, having between me and my brothers, had a long history of kind of roles in the athletic department. And my relationship with Dr. Spina and Neil was key to them, trusting me to kind of be the face of it, if you will, at a time where there was a lot of uncertainty. So that was the way we operated. It was when people in this community during the 2021-22 season wanted to do NIL compensation for our student athletes. It was call Matt. Matt will facilitate, Matt will help. And then in the fall of 2022, you and I had a conversation about the progress we had made. I felt like we needed to put some formality around it to kind of wrap it up in a pretty bow and kind of put a brand in and around what NIL was at Dayton. And what we did was we launched Dayton 6. Obviously you were kind of a founding member of that organization alongside me and Keith and Tom Whalen and a variety of others, right? Where we were kind of launching into the market to say, if you need or want to engage our student athletes, here's the channel, here's the vehicle to do it. At that time, we had kind of looked at the way the market was unfolding and a lot of collectives, right? Crowdsourced NIL is basically what a collective is. A lot of collectives were operating. And it was just a way to move money to student athletes. When we launched Dayton 6, there was a different vision put in place for what I thought NIL the right way should be. And that is build a sports marketing agency that is connecting brands, fans, and student athletes in real meaningful partnerships, right? Do we do crowdsourced NIL? Yes, we do. Yeah, there's a donate, contribute now button on the homepage of the website. But equally as important is how do we find ways to partner with nonprofits? How do we find ways to partner into the business community and build real marketing activations, utilizing our student athletes as influencers in this community? Dayton's special. You guys know this, right?
Sure.
Dayton basketball, you guys are the celebrities in town, right? Dayton basketball players are the celebrities in town.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been a wild west since that 2021, 2022 of, okay, here's money, here's how we get players, whatever. Like, it's just been crazy. But I credit and I take pride in being with UD because we have people like you who are at the forefront of this and are trying to really make impactful connections, relationships within the community to make this make sense. I mean, of course, anybody can just write a check and say, hey, how much do you want to come here for? Okay, here it is. I mean, that's basically what it's come down to in a nutshell. That's the part that it's discouraging. I mean, I'm happy kids are getting paid, but at the same time, it's like, what are we really doing to the product of college sports? What are we really doing to the fan base that is just like, what are we doing? Like, this kid's here 1 year, he's out the next year. I'm proud to be a part of, Dayton 6 that tries to really go out and find ways to connect, the community with the players, because that's kind of what this platform is really about also. It's just, I wanted to create a platform where we can talk about the players, we can talk about the team, we can talk about the university and other athletic teams as well. I wanted to grow to be able to connect all of that in a meaningful way, bring people like you on, like Nick on, former players, and let's talk about, what we've been doing after, what the current team is doing, what the people in the stands are doing, what they're into, why they're successful. And this is why I had to do this, because like I said before, coming up to that game back in December, those 2 games, it's like, man, there's got to be another layer, another piece, and make this thing an even more special place. And, Dayton 6 has been a great group of people to try to make that happen. So
I just wanted to chime in, Matt, and just say, from an outsider looking in, about the Dayton 6, kudos to you for, taking a lead and saying, let's own this. Let's own this as a university. Let's own this as a community. Where others were following and trying to figure it out. You really took the bull by its horns and really tried to do it the right way. But knowing you, I was like, I know Matt's going to do it the right way. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think, building it, Nick, and you guys know, right? So much of what it means to be a student athlete at the University of Dayton is unique, right? And it's not just the lessons in the locker room, it's the values in that campus. So for us, when we launched Dayton 6, it was that, Nick, right? It was, how do we build this in a way that it represents who we as a community are in Dayton, Ohio, who the institution is, who our leaders in Eric and Neil and Anthony are as people, right? And what does it mean to kind of empower and educate entrepreneurs who happen to be basketball players? So when we also think about the role of Dayton 6, it's more than the dollars. It's more than the partnerships. It also is partnering and teaching them what does contract language look like? What does exclusivity mean? What does in perpetuity mean, right? When you get those dollars, what are the budgeting exercises, and bringing Fifth Third to the table to talk through budgeting and savings, to bring H&R Block to the table to talk about tax planning, tax preparation, to bring Keith, right, as Keith Waskowski, former player, right, as a financial advisor, to arm these young men, right, with the tools they need, that they don't take every dollar and spend it, right? That they are setting themselves up for life after the ball stops bouncing, right? And they can do that as 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds in ways that they've never been able to do before, right? So that to me is when I think about what Dayton 6th is. Yeah, we act as an NIL collective, right? A concept which exists at every school in the country. Fans pool their money together collectively to assemble money into a common pool portfolio.
There is money. There is money exchanging. Let's not make it look like a moral.
100%. That is part of it.
It's not just a moral thing.
But everything else, right? Everything else. So,
for sure.
Yeah, Matt. You brought up your brothers, and I think you can't mention UD basketball, at least in Brian and I experience, without you and your brothers there. Like, how do you all just have a sense of pride about where you come from, presenting the university as a whole? It's ingrained in all 3 of you. Where did that come about? Being a part of the basketball program, or was it just your parents? Like, because you guys all represent that very well.
Yeah, I would say one, it starts as just being a kid going to games. UD Arena is special, right? Like, a lot of people ask me in my post-coaching life, do you miss it? And my answer is simple. I miss 30 nights a year. Like, I don't miss the other 360, the other 335.
Right. Yeah.
But there's something special, right, about you guys were there with jerseys on. I was there with a clipboard, right, walking out of that tunnel in 13,407 every single night. So it started as a kid in the arena, as a fan, growing up, going to camp. right? Being not a very good player, but loving the game, right? I got in on the coaching side, and to me, it was a childhood dream, right? To coach college basketball and to do it at my alma mater in my hometown, like that was special. You know, we all met through Andy, right? And Andy was a student manager before I was even involved in the program. Eric and I were coaching high school basketball in town. Andy decided to not go the coaching route and go the student manager route. You know, Andy spent 4 years as a manager with you guys. And then, you know, Eric and I kind of came behind as in the GA role. And then Eric took my GA role when I went on to the ops job, you know, whether it was, you know, Coach Gregory, Coach Miller, and then Andy came back, having been on Anthony Grant's staff at VCU. Andy came back when Anthony got the job again and was with him for his first 6 seasons here. And it's where does it start, Nick? I think it starts as a fan. I think it starts like just, you know, loving the game and being able to do it for a place that is aligned from a values perspective in your hometown. And it's a place that's really special to me and has provided a lot for me.
Good.
Yeah, I guess I'll transition a little bit. Just you talked about when you were, you know, on staff when we were there. This was like 07, 08, my senior year. But, you know, NIL, it's been around a long time. We just haven't been able to capitalize on, you know, that name, image, likeness back then. So I know we do some trading cards now. We got a good deal with the company now. We also had trading cards back in the day too. I don't know if you remember West Ohio Gaming Company. We had cards done.
I feel like I'm gonna laugh.
I'm scared about what Brian's going to pull up here because I got a text message on like all the youth basketball coaches.
I want to talk about.
Look at this.
I want to talk
Look
about
at this.
this right
Look
here.
at this.
You know,
What is this?
Shout
What
out!
is this?
Shout out Western Ohio Gaming. All right. Now this is on eBay right now. This is a
Nobody would buy that. Nobody would
08.
buy that.
Listen, I need to know guesses on the price. This is up for sale right now. Nick, we have a front and back. Look at the back now. We have everything on here about Matt Farrell at the time.
Oh, man, look at that, Matt.
Nick, what do you think this price is?
I don't know, man. I mean, Matt, you're a big deal, man, in the community.
Look at Matt. Matt had the broad shoulders. Look at that, man.
No, man. Smooth with the glasses. Got a fresh cut.
Look.
Look at that. Look at that mug right there.
Wow.
Are
we going to pull up the Brian Roberts one of these? Are we going to pull up the Nick Stafford one of these? Because we were all in the same series.
No, it's about Matt today, baby. It's about Matt.
Yes, Matt. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna say 1,000. I'm gonna say that for you, Matt. You know, I'm gonna say 1,000.
Wow. 1,000 pennies? 1,000
Yeah,
pennies?
What are we talking here? What currency are we talking here?
Yeah.
Monopoly.
Monopoly. Monopoly money.
I didn't
Yeah.
go any further than that. You know, I just wanted to boost the ego a little bit and then bring it back down.
Okay.
I think it's probably selling for $1.23.
Yeah.
$1.23.
$2.50.
Right. What? $2.50?
$2.50.
All right. Oh, you guys undervalued Matt, and his thing is going for $15. $15,
Okay,
man. You can get your 07-08 Matt Farrell Dayton Flyers card, man.
So you know, my mom brought this whole set over Christmas Day. She found it at the house. I got the whole set. The whole set.
There's one. If
I'll
you
send
look,
you
it
your
says
guys' cards.
Look, it says one sold. Somebody bought one. And there's last one. Somebody bought.
It might have been my mom.
It has to be a mom.
It might have been
Dory. There's no way anybody else other than your mom bought that card.
Man.
The only
Somebody
one
getting
that
robbed
could
at $14.99.
Oh my goodness, man.
Wow.
No, but I had to bring that up. I saw that. I was like, whoa, that is amazing right there.
Wow.
But
I just want to know why were
man.
you on eBay searching for stuff of mine?
Well, you know, me as getting into the podcast and, I want to do a little research. I just don't want to come in here with nothing, man.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
if I'm going to do this, I'm
you
going
don't have
to
to
do
lie.
it.
Cole wanted it, didn't he? Cole wanted it. I made such an impression on your son in December that he's like, you know what, Dad? I need a collectible.
Yeah. Nah, that might be true, man, but for sure. And I did, just for the record, I did look up and try to find mine since I saw that.
Yeah.
we're going for the same price. Just so you know.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's big.
Oh,
Same price. So
oh, damn.
I don't even know if one of mine sold. I can see one of yours has been bought already. I think mine are still just
Matt bought
waiting.
himself. Matt bought his card.
I did. I did. Man, I'm
Man.
trying to get them off the street. I don't want people to know that they're there.
It's too late now.
Oh, collect all the inventory.
Now
You
now
know,
you just
inventory.
took all my secrets, Brian. Man.
No, but speaking of the 07, 08 team, unfortunately, this current team seems to be trending towards that season. I don't know if you remember, Matt, but I mean, we had a extremely successful non-conference. We got up to, top 15 or so in the country, and then we hit A10 play, and just things just kind of fell apart. There's different reasons for that, compared to this year's team, but I'll let you give some more color to it if you want to. But I'm just hoping that this team can find its way and get back on track. Like I said, back then we were trending towards maybe 6, 7 seed in the tournament, maybe 5 if we, did what we supposed to. But we ended up being 3 seed in the NIT, man. So just a tough year. But like I said, this year, hoping they can turn it around.
Yeah, I would say this, Brian. I think definitely as you think about those major non-conference wins that highlighted, that your senior season and the kind of non-conference success that was had with this year's team, I do think those two things mirror each other in a lot of ways. It's sometimes hard, right, when you're in the middle of that fight, right, to understand how long the season can be at times. And as humans, right, it's hard to not look past today or to not focus on tomorrow. Right. And the best teams, right, the best fathers, the best husbands, right, the best people, right, focus and are fully present in where they are. And I think that what we sometimes forget amid all of these things is you can only control the next thing, right? And I think that is where the leadership in the locker room with this roster is capable of focusing on the next thing, right? So whatever the next game is, we can't look to March. The teams that look to March get distracted by the next thing. And I think that sometimes that's easier than other times. But I think that this team has the ability to still do and accomplish what they hope to accomplish. The amazing part about college basketball, right, is you can still, get an automatic bid. It becomes a lot harder if you don't finish in the top 4 the way the Atlantic 10 seeding goes. And I think that, in order to do that, you have to focus on the next game, right? So if that's, the next road game, or if the next game's back at UD Arena, it's only the next one that matters. You can't worry about March yet. You have to worry about the thing that's in front of you. So, yeah, I mean, man, I remember being in it with you guys, right? And those thoughts are hard thoughts as adults, right? As dads, right? As husbands.
Yeah,
now.
it's hard
and
now,
it was
but
way
yeah.
harder when we were younger, right?
Yeah,
It was way
for sure,
harder
man.
Yes,
when we were
for
younger.
sure.
Mhm.
So,
And I mean, the A10 doesn't make it any easy. I mean, because a lot of those teams and games aren't sexy games like the ones, back in Maui or, Marquette at home, or my year where we, play Louisville. Like these A10 teams, they just come to work, and they know when Dayton comes to play them. They always seem to make more shots. They always seem to have a little more energy. And, I think the UD teams every year have to understand, the ones that understand, okay, no matter who we're playing, we're going to play the same way. We're going to play with the same confidence. We're going to play with the same fearlessness. Those are always the ones that no matter what or who or where, they get it done. And, this year, you can just sense and see the waver in, I think, the confidence level. Like you said, it's a long year. Going out to Maui, coming back, maybe that has something to do with it. That takes a toll. Man, it's just, sometimes it's hard to watch just because we know what they have. We know what they can do. It's just, easier said than done to go out there and do it. but
100%.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just
100%. And
my
I
take.
think, we've got a very passionate fan base, right?
For sure.
And that place is special, right? UD Arena is special. I've said it a couple of times in this conversation already. And I think that there is a piece of kind of the overall, excitement for other teams coming in because it's the biggest game of the year. And, the best teams, the most mature teams, focus on the next thing. And I think that when we think back to, your guys' senior season, there were ups and downs, right? But we finished strong, and that positioned us well. We lost in the Atlantic 10 tournament, right? To a really good team who I think went on to, a Sweet 16 run that year.
Yeah,
Right.
at least.
So I think that we ended up getting it back. Right. And it wasn't without some trials and tribulations, but we got it back and rallied at the right times and still found some success. Right. And you guys ended your careers, in a way that you guys can still be proud of.
Yeah, I think, you guys touched upon it with this team. Matt, you said the best. I mean, thing about college basketball is you can be resilient. You can bounce back. You got to be playing your best basketball in February, and then tournament time comes and there's a whole new season. The difference is it's one game at a time. You can't get too far ahead of yourself. You just got to take it one game at a time. And I think these guys can do it. They show that they can beat top level teams. They have the leadership. They have the talent to do so. It's just a bit of focus that they need. And the A10, I mean, anybody can beat anybody, as we all see.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so you just got to be ready, to perform. They lost to VCU at home, and they just got to bounce back.
Yeah, I think college basketball across the board, I don't think it's necessarily just a Dayton thing or an Atlantic 10 thing, right? You just look at just like how hard it is to win conference games. It is a battle in every single conference, and in today's college basketball, whether it's style of play or the impact of transfers, right? Anybody is capable of beating anybody on a given night, and it's hard to win. Right? It's hard to win, and focusing on only the opponent in front of you does increase your likelihood of success. And I think that that's where the best teams are built, are, fixing mistakes, only making the same mistake one time, right? And controlling what they can control and put the next thing as the priority.
Right. And the other thing is, man, there's so much more things to worry about for these college students. They're not student athletes anymore, in my opinion. They're just, whatever. There's so many more distractions for them that, yeah, focus on the next game, but you got this person chirping in your ear. You worried about this money coming in, what's doing this, that, and the third. Like, there's so much more on their minds than just study hall, practice, and school. Like, it's just so much more. So it's totally different, man. And, before you get out of here, I just want to touch on, I guess, leading up to the future of NIL and the future of this whole landscape of college sports. You've, lived it. You've, been at the forefront of it for, the UD community and others. But can this continue on the path that it's going with the, NIL, with the portal? There has to be some changes coming up soon, right?
We've got a lot of changes coming. I think some of those changes are going to bring stability to the system. I think some of the changes are going to introduce a little bit more chaos in the near term while things settle out over the longer term. I think the thing that I talk to a lot of fans in this community about, right, is you might not like it, but it's here. A lot of folks ask me, Matt, but, a contribution to Dayton 6, what can you promise? And my answer is very simple. I can make no promises on what a contribution to Dayton 6 gets us. But I can promise what the inverse of that looks like, right? That the lack of support for NIL, the lack of support for our players, I know what that outcome is, right? And that's an outcome that no one wants to see. So I think we as a community have stepped up in a big way. The analogy I use is, as I look at, maybe rewinding to the beginning of this conversation, right? As I look at the progress we've made over the last 3.5 or 4 years when it comes to growing what is Dayton 6, then name, image, and likeness compensation for our student athletes. As we look in the rearview mirror and look back over the last 4 years, we need to acknowledge that this community has stepped up, that individuals and businesses and a lot of fans, right, have stepped up and supported Dayton 6th and all of the initiatives around name, image, and likeness at Dayton. We need to acknowledge that. We need to be grateful for it. And just like you're on a road trip, you can't stay looking in the rearview mirror.
Right.
We have to turn our eyes to the windshield. And what I know is that what we've done over the last 3.5 years doesn't get us to where we want to be. Right.
Yeah.
So we need more support. We need to find new and creative ways, right, to engage the masses. We need to continue to lean into the things that produce repeatable, sustainable opportunities for our student athletes, where there is a real exchange of value, right? That the businesses and individuals who are supporting are getting something in return for that. And we've done a good job of that. We need to be more creative as we move forward. One of the biggest changes coming, right, is compensation is going to flow through the university. Part of the compensation, a large portion of compensation, right? In a post-house settlement world, the university is going to sign contracts directly with student athletes. So that gives us a lot more flexibility. That doesn't mean Dayton 6 goes away, right? In fact, quite the opposite, right? We are going to continue to partner alongside the university and continue to kind of deepen our reach into this community and be a great steward of the investment that we, the community, have made into our men's basketball program. So I think a lot of those changes are going to bring stability and consistency, but we might have to weather another little kind of area of confusion. So it's communicating, it's educating, it's kind of hosting events that Neil and I have done a great job of, that Anthony and Tamika have supported. It's our players kind of being out and doing and representing the program in a first-class manner. It's all of those things just take time. So we're going to get there. We'll navigate it. And I do think that Dayton basketball is operating from a position of strength.
Like I said, this platform, I want to be able to use it to help the university, help Dayton 6. You know, this can be a way to get it out to the masses, bringing on current players, bringing on the staff, bringing on, Eric, bringing on Neil. I mean, whatever it takes. I want to bring all of those people on, and just talk to them and engage, have some dialogue and just see what we can do to take advantage of this opportunity, man. So,
well, Brian, I will say thanks for using your voice. Thanks for continuing to be part of the program, right? The role that you have played and that alumni at large play, right? I think is critical. Thank you for always saying yes when I've asked you to be part of something with me. Thank you for taking the initiative.
You call, yeah. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. Let's figure it out.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the initiative on this. Nick, thank you for everything, for your support. It was great seeing you on TV behind the bench at the UMass game.
UMass game, man.
It was. It was great. It's always great to see you guys. It's always great to see former players. Yeah, it's a special place. You guys know that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Appreciate what you do, man, for the university, for all the players. You look out for everybody, man. So I just want to make sure you're looked out too. That's why I said, what do you do, man? Because you just do way too much. Like, you do so much.
There's only 24 hours in a day. Seems like he has an extra
this guy.
6.
And I saw him coach, and he's coaching. He says he's out of coaching. He's not out of coaching. Don't let him fool you, Nick.
That's in the
blood. Shout out to what? South Dayton Knights. I see your boys out there, man. Listen. Matt's over there coaching like he's coaching legit D1, and these kids are like 8, 9, man. I mean, he's just standing up with his arms folded, just watching underneath out of bounds. He's just holding 4. Everybody's looking at him. He just calm, just real calm. 4, and he'll get on them though. They come off to the sideline, go sit down.
Yeah,
he'll get on them, but he's just calm. Like, shit, get a timeout going. He's in them. I'm like, okay, I see you, Matt. So don't let him fool you. He's not out of coaching.
Man.
Hey, Woodard's out of town this weekend when you're back. So you going to come on the sideline with me? You got me? Assistant Coach Brian Roberts? Coach Brian Roberts?
Hey, listen, I'm there.
Hey, let's do it. I'm texting you. I also just sent you, I just texted to you. Boys we had a little game winner yesterday. Boys executed late game situation.
Look,
Matt, did you
drawn up games.
On
I did.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Yep.
executing ETOs. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This guy, don't let him fool you, man. He's coaching. He is coaching, and he still has it in him. So I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool.
But no, thank you again, man. You're the first Farrell on here, so another straw in your hat, man. So, but again, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Take care, man.
All right. Hey, yeah. So, man, shout out Matt for jumping on, man. You know,
Yes.
he's been a legit dude. Him and his whole family, man, around the program forever. So had to bring him on. He's a great dude. So
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt.
But yeah, man, we covered a lot today. You know, we got some good insights from him. We touched on, you know, proof and evidence of the 5-star hooper right here. Like that was, again, I'm still like tripping off of, you know, him, my guy sending me that and showing me like, hey, y'all were just talking about this. Look what I got. Like I'm still
Great.
blown away with that. But yeah, there's the proof, man, right there.
Try to tell you.
That's the proof. Hey, I didn't doubt you because I was there. I never doubted, but you know how people get, you know, oh man, you aren't doing that. You ain't do this, that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. As a kid said, I was capping.
Yeah, no cap here. And no cap for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, another great episode. Like I said, a lot of insight. Talked about, you know, UD. Let's get back on the right track. Let's figure this out.
Right.
Super Bowl's done. No more football. So we just gonna turn to what else? I mean, we got NBA. We'll talk about NBA. You know, Luka's in the new spot. AD. Hey man, my God, just he gonna get right. You know, everybody's gonna talk. Hey, I told y'all gotta let like nah. My man is gonna be all right. He gonna figure it out, and Dallas will be good in the long run this season. But yeah, we'll talk. You know, a little bit of NBA and some other stuff. We'll get into some other sports too potentially. But man, I'm looking forward to it. Nick, appreciate you jumping on.
Absolutely,
you know, we'll
bro.
see. We'll work you in whenever we can. I know you're busy. You got your stuff too, but you know, I'd love to have you on as much as possible. We haven't talked about music today. He did just FYI, he did. Just between now and last episode, he sent me probably, maybe 4 or 5 songs. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all, this guy is nonstop music.
Yeah,
nonstop.
Gave you 4.
Nonstop. And I've never heard of him. I don't know who these people are. I don't know them. Not even, I can't even pronounce the names, some of them.
Hey,
but
man.
boy, when that beat come on, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep getting music from him. I might start playing a little bit of tunes on here, maybe low in the background or something, or maybe some intro music, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. Just to give the people a little glimpse, a little taste of the taste of music that we like or you like or whatever. I don't know.
Let me know. I'll be ready.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, man, Nick, appreciate you, man. I'll see you next time. All right.
All right, bro. Later.
Yeah. But another great show, y'all. Okay. Episode 2. We just getting rolling. Got some good stuff from, you know, Matt, just about the whole landscape of NIL at the University of UD. Just the whole landscape of NIL, college sports, just where it's going. From the UD perspective, how we've tried to bring about, you know, benefits and everything for the players, and he's right there in the middle of it. So appreciate him. He'll come on again if we need to kind of keep updates on everything. But thanks to him and Nick as always. So again, frequent flyer. We'll see who we bring on next. I don't know. Just make sure you guys stay tuned. Again, subscribe, like. I have to say it. Subscribe and like. So just so we can get the YouTube page going and make sure I'm continuing to grow this thing so we can get more eyes on it, so we can just build this community, right? Thank you guys. See y'all next time. Peace.